Welcome back to Mindful English Talks, everyone. John here, alongside the ever insightful Angelina. Today, we're diving into a topic that honestly, I think we all grapple with at some point, the nuanced art of walking away with grace.
Always a pleasure, John. And it really is an art, isn't it? It sounds so simple, just walk away, but it challenges so many of our ingrained instincts. We're often taught to stand our ground, to fight for every point, to always win the argument.
Absolutely. There's this societal pressure, I think, to always have the last word, to always prove you're right. But what if the strongest move, the most disciplined choice, isn't to engage, but to simply disengage, to protect your peace above all else?
Exactly. Because walking away with grace is not weakness, and that's a crucial distinction. It's strength under control. It's choosing maturity over an impulsive reaction and truly prioritizing your own growth over a fleeting ego boost from winning an argument that might not even matter in the grand scheme of things.
That's such a powerful reframe, Angelina. I mean, how many times have we all been in a situation where we kept pushing, kept arguing, only to feel utterly drained and regretful afterwards? The win felt hollow, if it even materialized.
Oh, countless times, John. And it makes you realize that your time and energy are finite resources. They're too valuable to squander on things or people that simply don't serve your highest good. Discipline, in this context, isn't about rigid rules, but about self-awareness, knowing when to invest and when to withdraw.
It's about recognizing the true cost, right? The emotional toll, the mental fatigue. You might win the argument, but at what expense to your inner calm? And often, the other person isn't even listening, they're just waiting for their turn to speak.
Precisely. And that's where grace comes in. It's not about being a doormat, it's about understanding that not every situation deserves your effort. There will be those moments where staying and explaining yourself feels absolutely necessary. You feel that pull, don't you, to justify, to clarify, to make them see your side.
Oh, that pull is incredibly strong, especially when you feel misunderstood. It's almost a physical urge to set the record straight. But then you realize some people are determined to misunderstand, no matter how eloquently you explain.
Exactly. And that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's liberating. Discipline helps you cut through that emotional noise and ask, is this truly productive? Is this helping me or them? Or am I just feeding into a cycle that drains us both? Sometimes the answer is a clear no.
So, then the next question becomes, how do you actually walk away gracefully? It's not just about turning your back and stomping off. That would be reacting, not walking with grace, right?
Absolutely not. Grace is really about how you leave, not why you leave. It's in your silence, your composure, your respect for yourself. You don't carry anger, you carry clarity. It's that quiet dignity that says, I understand this conversation isn't going anywhere productive, and I'm choosing to protect my energy.
I love that you don't carry anger, you carry clarity. That's such a beautiful distinction. It's not about resentment, it's about a clear-eyed assessment of what serves your well-being. It's a very conscious, intentional choice.
It truly is. Think about a challenging family dynamic or a difficult colleague. You can get drawn into the same old arguments, the same old patterns, but with grace, you can say, I've heard you. I need to step away from this conversation for now, or even just change the subject calmly rather than escalating.
That takes immense self-control. It means putting your ego on the back burner. Because the ego wants to be right, it wants to retaliate, it wants to defend its position. But grace says, my inner peace is more important than being right in this moment.
Exactly. And people notice that. When you respond with calm instead of matching their intensity, it can sometimes even de-escalate the situation for everyone involved. It doesn't mean you're condoning their behavior, it just means you're not engaging with it on their terms.
It's setting a boundary, isn't it? A very clear, very firm boundary, communicated not always through words, but through your actions and your demeanor. It communicates, this is where my energy ends, this is where my participation stops.
Precisely. And that, in itself, is a powerful act of self-respect. It says, I know my value, and I won't allow myself to be drawn into something that diminishes it. That builds confidence, not just in the eyes of others, but profoundly within yourself.
So, how can listeners start practicing this, Angelina? Because it sounds wonderful in theory, but in the heat of the moment, it can be incredibly challenging to remember these principles.
That's a great question, John. I think it starts with self-awareness, as most mindful practices do. Before you even get into a heated discussion, ask yourself, what's my objective here? Is it to genuinely understand, or is it to win? If it's the latter, that's your first red flag to consider walking away.
That preemptive thought is key, like setting an intention before you enter a potentially charged interaction. It's like having a mental exit strategy ready, just in case.
Exactly. And then, in the moment, if you feel your heart rate rising, your voice getting louder, or a knot forming in your stomach, those are physical cues. Pause, take a breath. That split second can be enough to interrupt the reactive cycle and choose a more graceful response.
The pause. It's so simple, yet so effective. It creates that tiny bit of space between the stimulus and your response, allowing you to choose rather than react impulsively. I've found it invaluable.
Absolutely. And sometimes, walking away literally means physically leaving the room, even if just for 5 minutes. I need to grab some water, or let's take a quick break and revisit this, can diffuse so much tension. It's not avoidance, it's strategic disengagement.
That's a great practical tip. It gives both parties a chance to cool down and often allows for a more productive conversation later if one is even still necessary. And sometimes you realize it wasn't necessary at all.
Precisely. And it also teaches others how to treat you. When you consistently choose grace and self-respect, people learn that you won't be drawn into unnecessary drama or unproductive conflict. You're teaching them about your boundaries without having to scream about them.
That's a profound point, Angelina. You become a model for calm and intentional interaction. It's almost like a ripple effect. When you elevate your own behavior, it can subtly encourage others to do the same, even if they're not consciously aware of it.
Yeah, and it's not always about big dramatic exits from major life events. Sometimes it's walking away gracefully from a social media debate that's getting heated, or a passive-aggressive comment at work that you could easily snap back at. These small moments are where we build that muscle.
That's so true. It's in the micro moments that we practice this discipline. Resisting the urge to type out that scathing reply online, or letting a snide remark slide off your back, knowing that engaging won't bring you peace, only more frustration.
Right, and in those moments, success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. Choosing to walk away with grace builds self-respect. It bolsters your confidence because you're acting in alignment with your values, and it fundamentally strengthens your emotional resilience.
Emotional strength is such a huge takeaway here, because it takes courage to walk away when every fiber of your being wants to stand and fight. It's a different kind of bravery, isn't it? The bravery of self-preservation.
Absolutely. It's knowing your value so deeply that you respect your own path enough not to let detours or distractions pull you off course. Your path isn't defined by every skirmish you engage in, it's defined by the direction you keep moving in.
I think it's also incredibly empowering. Instead of feeling like a victim of a situation or another person's words, you're taking control. You're dictating the terms of your engagement, or lack thereof, which is a powerful position to be in.
Totally. And sometimes that quiet, graceful exit speaks volumes more than any argument ever could. It can leave the other person with something to think about, without you having to deliver a lecture. It invites reflection, sometimes where confrontation only invites defensiveness.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about what it does for you, but it can actually influence the dynamic in a positive way for others, or at least provide them with an opportunity for self-reflection that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Potentially, yes. But the primary focus is always on your own peace and well-being. Any positive ripple effect is a bonus. The core discipline is realizing that you don't need to win every battle to win the war for your own serenity.
The war for your own serenity. I love that. It frames it as a much larger, more significant endeavor than just a momentary argument. It's a lifelong pursuit of inner calm.
It really is, and it's a practice. We won't get it right every time. There will be moments where our emotions get the better of us, and we engage when we shouldn't have. The grace is also in forgiving ourselves for those moments and recommitting to the practice.
Self-compassion is always a crucial part of any mindful practice, isn't it? Because beating yourself up for not being perfectly graceful just creates another layer of unrest.
Exactly. So, to our listeners, we encourage you to reflect on areas in your life where you might be expending too much energy fighting battles that aren't yours to win, or that simply don't deserve your precious time.
Think about where you can consciously choose maturity over reaction and growth over ego. Where can you protect your peace by simply, quietly, and gracefully stepping away? It's a powerful shift.
Remember, knowing your value and respecting your path are paramount, because sometimes the most powerful step forward really does begin with a quiet, graceful exit. Thank you so much for joining us today, John.
And thank you, Angelina, for this incredibly insightful conversation. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning into Mindful English Talks. We hope this helps you cultivate more peace and strength in your daily lives. Until next time, take care.